All right, everybody. This is LaManna, and this is about my memoir, LaManna, They Named You Right. So we're going to read the takeaways that I created during the writing of this book, referring to the Ten Commandments and how I was raised. So these are takeaways from my experience over time. And I'd like to read them to you. Rocks, Diamonds. This book has focused on my past, but now I'd like to turn your attention to the future, your future, especially for entrepreneurs with dreams of building a business and for business leaders in young organizations. This final section distills the lessons I described in previous chapters. Keep them in mind as you travel your own journey. This is diamond number 1. Wrap your suit in paper and pass it along. What's this mean? This book begins with my grandfather, Vincenzo, as a teen in Italy, receiving a suit from a relative who had immigrated to America. Vincenzo dons the suit and begins his own journey. I encourage you to do the same for your future generations. The suit may not literally be a suit, my suit, in this book. Now that you're reading this, it's your turn. Take what you learn and find a way to teach it to your next generation. Help them cross the ocean. Build something amazing. Then wrap their own version of the suit in paper and pass it along. So basically, that's the first introduction of how my grandfather immigrated and my grandparents immigrated to the United States. And that's how it started as an entrepreneur. All right. Don't be afraid to break the chains. The LaManna family has deep traditions and norms. We're always adhering to giving our family children names. We hired our brothers and sisters. From when I was a little until I went to work at Vomella, it was always the LaMannas against everyone else. My family kept me grounded. My father never let my head get big as he mentored me, and my mother was always there to reassure me. And even when we disagreed and fought, we always been tight. But some norms and traditions can inhibit your growth. When I refused to keep my brother Pete on Vomella's executive team, I was breaking with family traditions. But it was the only way for the company and for Pete and my family to grow. Honor your family traditions, but don't let them hold you back. Dare to create your own legacy, even when it means you have to break the chains. Sometimes you have to quit on dreams. We've heard countless stories of people pursuing their dreams at all costs and succeeding in the end. It's inspiring. But we rarely talk about the countless times people realize that no matter how hard we try, we won't be able to achieve our dreams. A big dream I had to give up was playing college hockey. No matter how much I practiced and how hard I worked, I could see that I wasn't going to be a professional hockey player. I quit the team and school and went to work at Vomella. It wasn't easy to quit on the dream, but cutting that cord showed me that when a dream no longer lines up with your vision for future success, you need to find a new course. Another diamond. Learn from your relationships. Even in today's digital age, everything comes back to relationships. You will build many, many relationships throughout your career. Don't let them become transactional. Learn from every human encounter, good or bad, whenever possible. I learned how my father and Jack Vomella built a relationship based on mutual trust and shared rewards. From my own relationship with my father, I learned about being a mentor and a student. I learned from my failed marriage to Renee. Study all your relationships. What was good about them? Why did you succeed? Why did they fail? Why did you fail? Be honest, and your answers will help you build stronger relationships in the future. Finally, remember that forgiveness is a gift. The ability to sincerely say you're sorry, forgive others, and accept forgiveness, even from yourself, must become part of who you are. Don't be afraid to say, I got this, even when you don't. When 3M dropped third year zero on us and effectively left us to die, I told my dad, don't worry, Dad, I got this. The truth is, I didn't really have it. I didn't even have a clue how I would get in. But I looked at his eyes and in his eyes that cold morning, and I knew he was done. I knew I had to step up and not let us die. You've got to believe in yourself, in your God-given talent, even if there is no clear-cut path. So speak those bold words and make your own path. Patience and perseverance are special gifts from God to help you follow His plan. Count on your friends and family to help you achieve work-life balance. I've seen firsthand what happens when you work hard and home lives are out of balance. Listen to a workaholic. Working too much will implode your personal life, which in turn could hurt your career. In business terminology, you might call this a lose-lose-lose scenario. You lose. Your family and friends lose. And in the end, your business will probably lose too. Work-life balance is hard, so don't try to achieve it alone. Lean into your friends and family. They know you, sometimes better than you know yourself. If you can't be the best at this, be the best at that. My difficulties in studying and learning are among the greatest challenges I faced in life. I didn't learn to tie my shoes until well after most other kids my age. I was embarrassed to read in front of the class. My struggles were so significant that I was held back a grade. But just because you struggle in one area doesn't mean you can't be successful in another. Learn to compensate for the areas where you have problems. For example, I struggle with writing, so I hire writers and marketers to channel me and get me where I need to go. That allows me to focus and become better in areas where I really excel, building relationships and generating ideas and business opportunities. If you're not the best at this, pivot and be the best at that. How do you get to be the best at something? I found it's a matter of choosing something that makes you a better person. I try to open up myself to change the growth, which often doesn't come too easy. But you're more likely to find your way when you're generous, kind, and selfless. The bottom line, you want to die happy. I give credit to my father for this one. If you learned anything from this book, you'll know that all the cash and a financial success in the world doesn't mean anything if you're not happy. Is your ultimate goal in life to die with $1 million in the bank or with a smile on your face? I guarantee if it's the former, especially if you lose your family in the process of making that cash, you'll sacrifice the latter. Our family received God's gift of seeing our mother die a happy person. She passed with dignity, knowing that she lived with purpose in her life. Thank you, Mom and Dad. Out of all you taught me, this might be the most valuable lesson. If family and business overlap, don't let them overwhelm. When my father agreed to bring in a family business therapist to help our struggles in the anticipated succession plan, I met Tom Hubler. Tom had a great piece of advice. In a family business, the family and the business will overlap. What's important is not to let one overwhelm the other. Tom advised starting with clear business goals and making sure the people within the organization are devoted to achieving them. If someone in the family fails to perform and meet the shared goals, they should suffer the consequences like any other employee. I believe this mentality works in the other direction as well. You need to dedicate time, love, and respect to your family. If you let the business side overwhelm your family life, you lose the emotion that makes us human and happy. Your backdoor plan will then be their backdoor plan too. Losing makes winning sweeter. I wrote this book in 2021, the year the Atlanta Braves won the World Series. Braves first baseman Freddie Freeman was pivotal in their playoff run. The Rays drafted Freeman in 2007, and he broke into the big leagues in 2010. Although he established himself as one of the league's best players, it was 11 years before the Braves got to the promised land. As I watched the Braves and Freeman win, I cried because I know how much the losses that came before those victories hurt. If you're bound for bigger things, you'll see the wins as baby steps in the game of life, and the losses as the stakes you must pluck down just to play. When you have a vision, you're always 4 or 5 steps ahead. I love playing chess because you're always strategically thinking about the next moves. In business, you want to do the same thing. But business and life don't always follow the rules or play nice. And it's difficult to accurately predict or control where you're headed. That's different if you have a long-term vision of where you want to be. Start with the end in mind. What do you want your business to look like? How will it change the lives of your customers? What will make you unique and how you deliver your products or services? If you have that vision in place, you can develop a plan that helps you stay the course, even when outside forces, or inside forces for that matter, threaten to push you astray. Stick and stay, it's bound to pay. One of the biggest diamonds of them all. I know that above all, I was telling you to know when to give up on a dream and when to break the chains that hold you back. Just as important is knowing when to stick with something. This diamond is also about developing what my Uncle Frank called nonprofit relationships. These are relationships with people who believe in you, trust you, and honestly support you. That leads to loyalty and integrity. Stick and stay with the people who are loyal to you, and they'll show the same loyal in return. When others say can't, let it fuel your can do. I'll never forget 3M's words to us when they delivered their third year zero message. You're going to need us. That lit a fire in me. It gave me the inspiration to build a can-do graphics company, even though all the tea leaves predicted Vomella was on the way down. Let the naysayers speak and use it as a locker room inspiration to fight harder every day. Do you have a chip on your shoulder? Good. Use it. Time heals all wounds. When someone says that time heals everything, it literally means time erases the pain. It means that sometimes you are hurting and going through a healing process. But at the same time, you are actually doing better with each day that passes. Usually, you're not aware that it's happening. But every time doesn't always heal all wounds. Sometimes you've got to look at the ones that are still causing you pain. That's why I wrote this book. I didn't write it to reopen old wounds. I wrote it to help heal mine. If you are a friend or family member who is reading this and you don't think my memory matches yours, please know this. Memory is fallible. Some who live through these experiences with me will doubtless remember them differently. And that's to be expected. I mean no harm to anyone. My only intention is to be an open book and to share my story with family and future generations of entrepreneurs. Thank you for opening this one and for sharing my journey. Now, it wasn't easy getting in front of this camera to put this together. This is 40 plus years of lessons learned. And I fought. There was a lot of naysayers, as they say. But we all have that. But there is a journey, and whatever God got planned for us, and that's the reason why I keep looking upward towards God and realize that, hey, listen, I have to pass on the pain and the experience to others. And as you might know, I have 3 children. And I looked at each one of them and I tried not to hurt or let them experience the hurt that I had. Then I realized everybody's going to go through hurt. So if this is something that could inspire you and help you understand that you're okay, but there's always a price to pay, whatever that is. So the best thing that I try to focus on in life is integrity. So stick with it, man. You got to have grit. You got to make things happen. Treat people with respect. And that's my message. So there's an easy way to get in hold of me. It's very easy. They named me right. RockLaManna.com. Check me out. And you could always call me too. So God bless you. Take care of yourselves. Talk to you soon.